For over 7 months, it drifted alone, silent, unseen, and seemingly forgotten, suspended in the immense dark beyond the edge of our solar system. Voyager 2, a spacecraft launched by NASA in 1977 and hailed as one of the most enduring achievements of human engineering, had gone quiet. For decades, it had faithfully transmitted streams of data back to Earth, beaming information from planets once imagined as distant specks into detailed portraits of alien worlds. But then, without warning, the signal ceased. At first, it was thought to be a routine communication issue. NASA had planned maintenance at the Goldstone antenna, just a temporary pause in contact. But when the silence stretched into months, unease set in. The question no one wanted to ask now lingered heavily. Had Voyager 2 finally perished in the vast, frigid reaches of interstellar space? And then, as suddenly as it had gone dark, a message returned. This wasn't a mere heartbeat or automated status ping. It was a full response to a command sent from Earth. Voyager 2 had acknowledged the directive, adjusted its orientation, and sent telemetry confirming it was not only alive, but functioning with stunning precision. Yet what followed was stranger still. The data it transmitted contained anomalies, information that shouldn't have been possible for its aging systems to generate. Instruments believed to be permanently dormant had inexplicably powered on. Subsystems untouched since the 1980s had begun reporting again. It was as if something had awakened the probe, or perhaps something had awakened within it, launched during the golden age of space exploration. Voyager 2 was an audacious gamble, an interplanetary emissary sent with the explicit goal of never returning. Built with only 68 kilobytes of memory and powered by less than 23 watts, it was a marvel of efficiency. Its mission, to perform close flybys of the solar system's outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, before plunging into the deep, directionless dark beyond. Against all odds, it succeeded. It revealed Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's intricate ring systems, Uranus's tilted magnetic field, and Neptune's supersonic winds. But more than just images, it returned insight. Voyager 2 redefined how we see our place in the universe, and when its tour ended, it simply kept going. In 2018, the spacecraft achieved another historic milestone. It became only the second man-made object, after its twin, Voyager 1, to cross the heliopause, the outermost boundary of the Sun's influence. Once thought to be a hard line, Voyager showed that the edge of the solar system is more like a membrane, volatile, shifting, penetrated by cosmic rays and magnetic turbulence. Beyond that threshold lay the great unknown interstellar space, an uncharted ocean of plasma, dust, and silent forces. As Voyager 2 entered this domain, it continued sending back faint whispers, scientific gold for researchers on Earth. But those whispers grew faint, until finally they vanished in early 2020. For months, NASA tried to re-establish contact. Engineers adjusted dishes, recalibrated instruments, and sent command after command into the dark. Nothing came back. Behind closed doors, some began to mourn what they assumed was Voyager's death. The silence seemed final. But in October 2020, a signal crackled to life. It wasn't just a simple acknowledgement. It was as if the spacecraft had returned from a journey not just of space, but of state. It executed commands flawlessly and sent back an astonishing amount of information. The real shock, however, came from what that data revealed. Within the telemetry, engineers found data from long-dormant instruments, systems that should have been powered down, inaccessible, or decayed beyond use. More puzzling still were the signal patterns, layered frequencies, recursive code structures, and transmission protocols not used in decades. Some of the signal appeared to contain self-referencing logic, almost as though the spacecraft was attempting to describe or replicate itself. This wasn't just data. It was something else. Something reflective. Some interpreted it as a survival mechanism, an autonomous system defending its identity. Others began to suggest a more unsettling possibility, that Voyager had encountered something, something that had read its memory, probed its systems, and responded. Official statements from NASA were vague. They cited potential software anomalies or effects from radiation storms. But internally, documents began to circulate with a new term: unknown interaction detected. For engineers who had worked with the probe for decades, that phrase carried unsettling implications. Was Voyager still just a machine? Or had it become a node of something larger, something outside our understanding? What truly unnerved the team wasn't the content of the data. It was its timing. A final packet, sent just before Voyager's silence, showed patterns in the surrounding interstellar plasma that couldn't be explained by any known model. Magnetic fields were too organized, too rhythmic. Pressure differentials suggested something had pushed against the probe, something localized. Some postulated it could be a previously undetected gravitational anomaly, possibly from a nearby object or structure. Others raised a more controversial theory, that Voyager had entered an artificial region of space, not necessarily built in the way humans build, but stabilized, held in place by forces unknown. These ideas were never publicly acknowledged, but inside black-budget aerospace labs, simulations began to model the impossible. The conclusions were quiet but consistent. Voyager 2 had passed through something that left an imprint. And that imprint might not be physical, but informational. This opened up a whole new dimension of concern. For years, space agencies have obsessed over planetary protection protocols. Probes are meticulously sterilized before launch to avoid contaminating alien worlds. But now, a deeper worry arose. What if the danger isn't what we bring, but what we take back? Voyager 2 may have encountered not matter, but information, a signal, a structure, a presence encoded into the fabric of space itself. And what if that presence changed it? When the spacecraft's backup software reactivated, it began broadcasting logic loops, patterns that some engineers didn't interpret as a malfunction, but as behavior. The concept that a machine could evolve through exposure to a cosmic system is no longer fringe science. It forces us to ask, can space transmit intent? Can it alter us? In response, a new monitoring protocol was implemented at NASA without fanfare or press release. Voyager 2's signal would now be handled by a specialized isolated team. Communications were routed through encrypted internal networks. This wasn't just about data integrity. It was about containment. Engineers began to note strange fluctuations. Signal strength spiked erratically, not weakening but pulsing, almost as if responding to stimuli that didn't exist. Some intervals began to mirror transmissions from Voyager 1, but in reverse order, as if the two probes were communicating through a medium beyond space as we understand it. This prompted new theories, that Voyager 2 might be part of a resonance effect, interacting with a vast invisible lattice, possibly gravitational or quantum in nature. One leaked internal memo read simply, "Maintain position. Do not respond unless instructed." The implications were clear. Someone, or something, might be listening. And so Voyager 2 continues to drift deeper into the void. But it is no longer just a scientific instrument. It has become something else, a mirror, a messenger, perhaps even a participant in a dialogue we do not understand. For the first time in history, a machine built by our hands has crossed into a domain not designed for life or light, and may now be engaging with something we cannot name. The fear is no longer of aliens or invaders. It's the idea that the universe itself is not a passive backdrop, but an active matrix, conscious, reactive, and ancient. Perhaps Voyager hasn't found life in the traditional sense. Perhaps it has touched the architecture of reality, something that speaks not through language, but through rhythm, radiation, and motion. And perhaps what we once believed was empty space is in fact something else entirely, a field of awareness older than time. Voyager 2 was not designed to return. It was meant to whisper into eternity. But now, the whisper has turned into a voice, and it may not be ours.